Good day to everyone, and welcome to the fourth Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. I'm Professor Jose Wendell Capili, your host for this morning's activities. This year, 15 public service programs that have been implemented by departments, colleges, and units all over the UP system will be recognized for the timely, innovative, and effective responses to the exigent needs of the country that surfaced when the pandemic broke out. We will begin our ceremony with the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, pelos ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, kita masisingil, sa lagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo bangag, may ilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang tinamahal. Ang isang ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na nagtitigil, ang bituin ng araw niya kailan ang pwede magtitigil. Lupa ng araw ng aming pagsita, buhay langit sa likod. Aming ligaya na at may mamagin, ang lahat ay nagdahil sa'yo.
It was in 2016 when public service programs were first awarded at the level of the UP system, a testament to the relevance of public service as a function of the university, along with teaching and research. Now, on its fourth installment, the Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service continues to institutionalize such recognition of the great work that UP does for communities, sectors, and stakeholders that it serves with fervor and dedication. We'll witness today how the people behind these initiatives have relentlessly and passionately worked to ensure that even when the difficulties brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic bears down on us, no one was left alone and without a helping hand. To recognize this year's awardees and encourage the whole of UP to continue the tradition of exhibiting honor, excellence, and compassion, may I now call on the President of the University of the Philippines, Professor Danilo Dadizabal Concepcion.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Nandito po tayong muli upang magbigay pugay sa mga nagpakita ng husay, dangal at tunay na malasakit sa pagkakatid ng serbisyong pampubliko. Maglilingkod na inaasahan ng taong bayan mula sa UP, ang pambansang pamantasan ng Pilipinas. Binabati ko rin po ang 15 na namumukod tanging proyekto mula sa iba't ibang constituent units ng UP na pararangalan ngayon ng Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. Para sa taong ito, kinikilala po natin ang mga nag-alay ng kanilang kaalaman, kadulubhasaan, panahon at lakas upang tugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga komunidad at mamamayan sa gitna ng pandaigdigang krisis sa kalusugan. Malikhain, mapamaraan at mabisa, kayo at ang inyong mga proyekto ay nagsisilbing inspirasyon at halimbawa para sa UP at sa mga susunod pang mga henerasyon na mga pinuno at lingkod bayan ng Pilipinas. Universities have long served 3 functions: teaching, generating new knowledge through research, and rendering extension services. With escalating global crises such as this pandemic and climate change, and with the advent of the 4th Industrial Revolution, universities have become even more mindful of their social responsibility, the responsibility to produce ethical professionals, transformative leaders, and critical and engaged citizens, and to directly impact their societies by utilizing their knowledge resources and innovations to address complex issues such as poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. In this respect, UP is unique because its charter enshrines the university's third function in its mandate. The fourth edition of the Gawad Pangulo, Excellence in Public Service, the third to be held during my term, is a testament to our administration's commitment to uphold the university's mandate to lead as a public service university. It has always been a source of pride for me to witness the many and varied ways the UP community has embraced our public service mandate. Thus far, for the Gawad Pangulo for Public Service, we have had 64 public service programs and projects from different units all over UP system that vied for recognition. A total of 28 public service programs and projects will receive this prestigious award. The fourth edition of the Gawad Pangulo aims to honor the creative, innovative, and practical strategies of UP units in responding to the pandemic's unprecedented challenges and in ensuring the continuity of these programs and projects for the benefit of the different publics that the university serves. This Gawad Pangulo is unique in that it distinguishes the initiatives that sought to address the impact of COVID-19 on vulnerable sectors. All the nominated initiatives this year have responded to the different needs that arose due to the pandemic. This year alone, UP has taken the lead in calibrating local and national pandemic responses. This year's Gawad Pangulo recognizes 15 public service initiatives for responding uniquely to the specific needs of target beneficiaries. These initiatives also inspire the implementation of similar enterprises. Their wide range and long-term impact, their unique strategies, and the collaborations they have forged inside and outside the university ensure that the initiatives are well-informed and responsive to identified needs and enhance UP's teaching and research functions. With that said, I commend each UP unit that has undertaken public service initiatives, whether these are easing our people's burdens under the pandemic or addressing other pressing concerns. Muli, nagbibigay pugay po ako sa mga tatanggap ng parangal na ito. Maraming salamat po sa inyong tapat at walang humpay na paglilingkod sa bayan. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thanks very much for your uplifting message, President Concepcion. To formally begin the awarding ceremony and introduce us to members of the prestigious selection committee, please welcome the Vice President for Public Affairs of the UP system, Dr. Elena E. Pernia.
This fourth Gawad Pangulo for Excellence in Public Service comes at a most appropriate time. We are almost 2 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, and over this period, we in the Philippines have experienced some of the deepest lows. Our economy plummeted, negative 16.9% in the second quarter of 2020, the deepest contraction in contemporary Philippine history. Our poor health system capacity became even more obvious when the pandemic hit, not just overburdening our hospitals, but also decimating the ranks of the best and the brightest in their fields. And while the battle against the novel coronavirus and its variants was on, another kind of battle needed to be waged against the COVID-19 infodemic. But we are also starting to see some positive signs in the horizon. As I say this, the country's positivity rate is at a low of 1.80%. Infections are on the decline, and several hospitals, including our own UP Philippine General Hospital, report no new COVID-19 cases in the past few days. At the UPPGH, the country's biggest COVID 19 referral facility, there are currently only 54 COVID patients, the least in more than a year. Moreover, vaccination numbers are on the rise, albeit only 35% of the total Philippine population has received 2 doses. Perhaps these are indicators that the proverbial rainbow after the country's stormy struggles with COVID 19 will be making its appearance soon. We can proudly say that UP has played a vital role, being at the front and center of the country's multi-sectoral pandemic response, in line with its mandate as a public service university. And today's awarding will give everyone a peek into the amazing response of the faculty, students, staff, and alumni across our constituent universities who selflessly and spontaneously responded to the COVID 19 challenge. Ang lingkod bayan na galing UP ay patunay ng husay at dangal, utak at puso ng UP. Ito ang galing ng UP sa pagtugon sa hamon ng pandemya para sa bayan. Let me now say a few words about the Gawad Pangulo Award and today's ceremony. The Gawad is anchored on the university's mandate to lead as a public service university by providing good work to the community and the public, as well as scholarly and technical assistance to the government, the private sector, and civil society. How can a public service project be considered for Gawad Pangulo? Padayon Director Dr. Janet Yasol Naval will explain later, but I wish to point out a few indicators of excellence. In terms of service orientation, beyond providing for the needs of the target beneficiaries, did the project empower the beneficiaries to serve other communities? Regarding community impact, do the positive changes in the target beneficiaries' behaviors and practices have the potential to be long-term and wide-ranging, especially as we now approach a new reality, a new normal? Moreover, how innovative or ingenious, unique or original, cross-disciplinary or collaborative across the CUs is the public service initiative. And finally, since we are an academic institution, has the initiative inspired our teaching and academic program development, research, and publication? For this fourth Gawad Pangulo, 32 nominations from all UP constituent units and the UP system were received. Truly, these public service initiatives are all exemplars of honor, excellence, and compassion. But before we honor the awardees, let us also recognize the efforts of our own Padayon Public Service Office and the Board of Judges for this fourth Gawad Pangulo, for their dedication and efforts to uncover dangal at husay in the COVID-19 public service initiatives in UP. We salute our Padayon office, ably led by its director, Dr. Janet Yasol Naval. Our heartfelt gratitude also to our distinguished Board of Judges, Professors Emeriti all, Jose Dalisay, Maria Luis Camagay, and Ida Siason. Thank you very much and congratulations. Padayon.
First of all, my warmest congratulations to the winners of this year's Gawad Pangulo Awards. This was both an easy but also difficult competition for us to judge. Easy because it had a very timely focus, our university's response to the COVID pandemic. but also difficult because we received a large number of entries, each of them worthy and deserving in their own way. What's clear is that everyone here comes out a winner, because these projects, covering a broad range of concerns from the laboratory to the hospital to the classroom and to the dinner table, show UP at its finest, serving our people with honor and excellence. Mabuhay po kayong lahat at maraming salamat.
Isang malaking karangalan ang naging kasapi sa lupon na pumili ng mga nanalo sa ika-4 Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service para sa taon 2020-2021. Nakakatuwa na tumugon ang mahigit 30 na aplikasyon sa panawagan ng universidad na lumakok sa patimpalak mula sa iba't ibang constituent units. Nariyan ang UP System, UP Baguio, UP Cebu, UP Diliman, UP Manila, UP Mindanao, UP Open University at UP Visayas. Sinalamin ng paglahok ng mga nabanggit na CU na buhay ang public service sa kanilang campus. Dahil sa ang tema ng taon na ito ay Galing UP, Lingkod Bayan, pagtugon sa hamon ng pandemya, karamihan ng mga lumahok ay nagpakita ng kanilang tugon sa pandemya. Nakita ang tugon mula sa medisina, siyensya, teknolohiya, pagtuturo, mental health at sistemang legal. Hindi rin matatawaran ang kagyat na tugon ng CUs sa kanilang mga komunidad na binubuo ng mga estudyante, faculty at non-academic personnel sa harap ng pandemya. Buong husay ipinamalas ng mga nagwagi ang hindi matatawaran na serbisyong publiko na papel ng UP. Tunay nga maipagmamalaki ang mahusay at makabuluhan serbisyong pampubliko na itinataguyod nila. Maraming salamat sa Padayon Public Service Office sa pamumuno ni Dr. Janet Yasul Naval at ang kanyang staff sa tulong na ipinaabot nila upang maging madali ang aming gawain. Mainit na pagbati sa mga nagwagi.
It has been an unexpectedly enlightening and pleasant experience being in the committee for the Gawad Pangulo selection. The many initiatives, all 32 nominated projects, undertaken during the pandemic academic year 2020 to 2021, truly displayed that UP, with its constituent universities, is indeed distinguished not only for its prowess in teaching, research, and publications, but as well in its service orientation. Given the very meritorious substance of all the projects, I found the task quite difficult, and it was only made slightly easier because we were allowed to select 15 awardees. I am confident that the 15 awarded, as well as the other nominated projects, will serve as models for interventions that other institutions, not just UP units, can adapt. So, congratulations and best wishes. In Hiligaynon, we say, Padayuna, UP, continue on UP. Thank you.
We have now arrived at the moment we have all been waiting for, as we will now see the 15 public service programs that have been selected from the numerous nominations to receive this year's Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. After their certificates of recognition have been shown, we will be seeing a video feature of the awardees, which will be followed by an inspirational message from the chancellors of the UP constituent universities.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the National Institutes of Health National Telehealth Center of the University of the Philippines, Manila, for the Stop COVID Deaths webinar series, Clinical Management and Virtual Grand Rounds. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
The Stop COVID Deaths webinar series. The webinar was the first in the Philippines to have the virtual grand rounds with the case studies presented through the art of storytelling and captured the pulse of the masses by the person on the street interviews. The webinar continuously engaged the audience with rich discussions, thought-provoking question and answer sessions, and even having select attendees ask their questions live on camera to the panel, resulting in a highly involved and participative weekly Friday habit for everyone. 82 webinars, 67 special topics, 15 virtual grand rounds, 4 virtual international conferences, 3 national town hall meetings for hospitals, 2 national book launches, over 250 experts from the academe, private and public hospitals, government agencies, private sector, professional associations, patients groups, media friends, faith-based organizations, and so much more. With a national reach of over 65,000 viewers all over the Philippines and a global reach of 69 registrant hospitals in 134 countries across the globe, with one goal: to stop COVID deaths.
Together, let us stop COVID deaths.
So keep safe, keep healthy, and see you online.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the College of Medicine of the University of the Philippines, Manila, for the UP Surgical Innovation and Biotechnology Laboratory Program, in recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
The UP Surgical Innovation and Biotechnology Laboratory, or the UP-CIBOL, was started as a response to the frustration of surgeons and healthcare providers who feel they have failed to deliver optimum care to their patients because of the inadequacy, incompatibility, unaffordability of imported medical devices.
And I think what made the UP-CIBOL organization different is probably our having had the chance to get these collaborations going. In order for us to form or to make these biomedical equipment, it can't be just clinicians. It can't be just engineers. Right? You can't have just artists, or you can't just have designers. You've got to have a whole team. So I think the concept has always been there. The ability and the opportunity to actually get this whole team working together, I think that's what UP-CIBOL brought in.
Compared kasi with other types of research, pag product development, iterative yung process mo. Which means, you can plan all you want to make the right product. Pero there will always be corrections. There will always be points to improve on every time you finish a prototype.
As far as achievements are concerned, the team has successfully built the devices, that's number one, and deployed to the COVID-19 treatment areas. For us also, that's the ultimate measure of success. We know that there's still much work to be done, and we hope to send out more units in the future.
Ipinahahatid ko ang pagbati at pakikiisa ng UP Manila sa UP Padayon Public Service Office, Office of the Vice President for Public Affairs, sa pagkilala at pagbibigay pugay sa mga mahuhusay at makabuluhang programang pampubliko na tumugon at patuloy na tumutugon sa COVID-19 pandemic. Malaking karangalan para sa UP Manila na nakasama ang maraming inisyatibo at pagsisikap ng mga guro, kawani, mag-aaral at alumni upang makapagbahagi ng kaalaman, teknolohiya, inobasyon at serbisyong kaugnay ng kanilang mga pananaliksik. Pinabati ko ang 12 nominado mula sa UP Manila, Bayanihan na Operations Center, UP Surgical Innovation and Biotechnology Laboratory, Rapid Evidence Reviews on COVID-19 Management, Stop COVID Deaths Webinar Series, Clinical Management and Virtual Grand Rounds, PGH COVID Delegabay Program, Kooperasyon Rural Surgery Program, Safely Transforming the University Hospital to a COVID Referral Hospital, Public Health in the Time of COVID-19 and the New Normal, a webinar series, Provision of Technical Assistance to CHED, the state universities and the colleges, the 2021 Telekonsultasyon Plus at Disaster Response ng Ugnay ng Pahinuod, at ang community-based COVID initiatives ng Cavite, Amiga, kasama na ang UP Manila. Patuloy ito na hindi lamang sa pagtuturo at pananaliksik ang lakas at husay ng UP, kung hindi gayon din sa serbisyong pampubliko, lalo na sa panahon ng krisis tulad ng COVID-19. Masigabong pagbati sa mga bumubuo ng bawat programa. Ipagpatuloy ninyo ang marangal at mahusay na serbisyo para sa bayan, para sa Pilipino.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the College of Medicine of the University of the Philippines, Manila, for the Bayanihan Na Operations Center. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
When the Philippine General Hospital was designated as a COVID-19 referral center on March 23, 2020, UP-PGH Bayanihan Operations Center or BNOC was created to coordinate efforts for harmonized volunteerism during this period of national health emergency. Hotline 155200 was dedicated for PGH's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, a number that for many people back then was one that stood for help and for hope. The first arm was focused on the patients. With the PGH outpatient department closed, 155200 made healthcare accessible to hundreds of patients on a daily basis during the lockdown restrictions. By efficiently referring callers for hospitalization and COVID testing, BNOC also decongested the emergency department and OPD and made these areas safer for both patients and healthcare workers. More importantly, the BNOC corrected misinformation on COVID, provided reassurance, and allayed fears during these difficult times. The second arm was initially focused on providing adequate PPE for frontliners. Eventually, donations also included cash, equipment, COVID test kits, and food donations for staff and patients. BNOC paved the way for systematic logistic management of these supplies. Since June 2020, BNOC has transformed beyond its role in the PGH pandemic response and is now an integral part of the routine telemedicine services of the hospital and even training in UP Manila Health Sciences programs. This project was inspired by the Filipino culture of bayanihan, not only from hands offered by the UP community, but from partners outside of UP and from our kababayans from all walks of life. This project is an innovation that continues to bring honor and excellence to the university.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the Philippine General Hospital of the University of the Philippines, Manila, for the PGH COVID Telegabay program. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
The PGH COVID Telegabay program was initiated during the second surge of the SARS-CoV-2 infection in March of 2021 when the healthcare system in NCR was overwhelmed with consults and admissions. The initial goal was to decongest the emergency rooms and hospitals by providing a venue for licensed doctors to guide or gabay patients and their families to manage their infections at home. The program aimed to facilitate the engagement of our patients to licensed, competent, and compassionate doctors who volunteered to provide the much-needed advice during the surge. This initiative was a reflection of the responsiveness and dedication of the community of doctors willing to serve our people in spite of its limitations and health challenges at hand. The COVID Telegabay referrals initially came from calls received through the Bayanihan Operations Center and the PGH Transfers Command Center. And now, through the PGH COVID Telegabay Facebook page, the access to this service extends to anyone who needs advice related to COVID via engaging with the doctors through Facebook. During the third surge of COVID infections, contingent with the transmissions of the Delta variant, volunteer alumni in the provinces also adopted the PGH COVID Telegabay format. Examples are the Cebu City Telegabay program and the MMG Kaagapay COVID Home Care program in Oriental Mindoro. In the succeeding months, the number of volunteer doctors dwindled, and to adjust to the limited staffing, an automated reply system called the chatbot was developed. Through the chatbot, patient engagements were filtered and a good number were given appropriate advice even without actually talking to a Telegabay volunteer. Since the program started in April 2021, we have given gabay to almost 3,000 patients, most of them with mild infections. We were able to provide reliable and practical information on COVID issues, particularly during the April to May and August to September surges in 2021. The service was able to cater mostly to our kababayans from the NCR, but we also had clients from provinces and even from abroad. Infographics posted on the Facebook page were also well received, as evidenced by the number of people reached with likes, reactions, comments, and shares. Telegabay's best proof for achieving its objectives comes in the form of messages of appreciation, gratitude, and support. Its relevance during the pandemic and access to reliable information as well as socio-emotional support makes this initiative unique and remarkable. Volunteerism allows this initiative to provide service that is free of charge. Volunteer alumni of UP College of Medicine, PGH consultants, and help from experts coordinated to deliver the highest level of care and guidance for all teleconsultations. This entailed formulation of unified protocols, creating the Facebook Telegabay page and its contents, and a referral system to cover all the possible needs in managing a COVID infection. Telegabay was effective in empowering, educating, and encouraging its beneficiaries. Many were provided relief from the physical, emotional, and social impacts of having the COVID-19 infection. Many were given assurance of recovery and enabled them to return to work and resume their livelihood.
As one of the constituent units of the only national university in the country, our articulation of public service is that it is at the apex of everything we do. Our instruction is in the name of public service. Our continuous knowledge generation through research always has the bottom line of improving the quality of life of the people. And our concretization of our community engagements and university social responsibility also points to the same bottom line, the people. As such, we can say that we have many public service initiatives at the university. And I am happy to note that two of them, the hashtag #OpenFight or the UPOU's banner program for an inclusive and open to all initiatives to fight the COVID-19 and the online bridge program for English and Math were nominated to the 4th Gawad Pangulo for Excellence in Public Service. But beyond the award itself, the process of putting together the nomination documents also provides an opportunity for self-reflection and internal assessment of the public service initiative based on the parameters which the university deemed important as indicated in the information being requested in the nomination. I commend all our colleagues for their commitment and dedication to the university's functions in the name of public service, guided by our long-held tradition of honor, excellence, and equity. We are all winners, especially our publics whom we made a commitment to serve. And to those who will be recognized in this 4th Gawad Pangulo for Excellence in Public Service, salute to all of you. Padayon!
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the University of the Philippines Open University for the hashtag OpenFight open fight against COVID-19 in recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic considered to be the largest disruption to society, specifically in education in history, forced academic institutions to pole vault remote learning to ensure that learning for various types of learners would continue. In March, with many areas of the country put on lockdown, UPOU started implementing the only possible way of enabling the education sector transition to remote learning and online distance e-learning. As the whole world continued to address the challenges of the pandemic, UPOU moved towards intensifying its various efforts and consolidating it for a more strategic and efficient way of implementing the various COVID-related activities through the Open Fight program, the Open Fight against the COVID-19. The Open Fight has the following features: multimodal, where different forms of online activities were implemented, such as webinar sessions, online courses, and regular online panel discussions like EduHack. Volunteerism, where UPOU faculty and staff share their expertise and time to implement the various activities. And partnership with different organizations and HEIs provide a reach of the initiatives. HEIs sought UPOU's expertise on ODO and other tailor-fit training programs held via video conferencing. The topics included learning materials development, conduct of classes via distance, online assessment, student support services for online learners and their parents, and technologies for teaching and learning, among others. Inclusive and open such that everyone interested to learn about the topic can participate. The webinar sessions were free, the training courses were implemented in the framework of massive open online courses. Shared content, the content used in the webinar sessions and MOOCs were made available as open educational resources or OERs and accessible through the UPOU platform network.upou.edu.ph. Some were made available through the Philippine Shed Connect to facilitate access through multi-platform availability. Adaptability, the model used for inclusive training or capability building program, is the combination of webinar session plus MOOC plus development of re-entry action projects, or REAP Pro, can be replicated by other organizations, and just like in the OER framework, can be reused, remixed, or redesigned, depending on the context of the users and reshared. The Open Fight recorded the following numbers for its various initiatives. About 600,000 individuals from about 11,000 institutions participated in its webinars and podcasts. Almost 11,000 enrolled in its massive open online courses and other online training initiatives, and was recognized as one of the champion projects in the World Summit Information Society Prizes 2021 under the Capacity Building category. Through the years, UPOU has continuously overcome hurdles, revolutionized disruptions, and created innovations and opportunities in the service of the nation and of the Filipino people.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the School of Management of the University of the Philippines, Mindanao, for the Save Food Systems in recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, our whole team has proven that with Bayanihan, we are able to respond to the challenges faced by some of our food system actors. Our project is Safe Food Systems, or strengthening against vulnerabilities and externalities of food systems. I am Glory D. Romo and I am so happy to be part of this team.
The other core team members from UP Mindanao School of Management are John Mark Sarmiento, Adonis Traje, Geraliza Wahing, and Francis Levy Durano. We have been able to implement this project through the Australian Alumni COVID-19 Response Grant Scheme. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Australian Aid, Australia Global Alumni, and Australia Awards and Alumni Engagement Program Philippines. Our activities were also made possible because of our collaboration with multiple organizations. In addition to the research that we conducted for this project, we implemented 3 service extension activities. First, we distributed food packs, hygiene and safety kits, vegetable seeds and fruit and forestry seedlings, cacao and coffee seedlings in Barangay Manuel Gianga in Davao City. Second, we also conducted a similar activity in Barangay Kapatagan, Indigo City, and Marilog District in Davao City. Third, we organized 5 batches of training on strengthening against vulnerabilities and externalities of food systems through food safety training. The training is intended to help the micro, small, and medium enterprises in the food processing sector to comply with the expensive annual training requirement on food safety and quality management and good manufacturing practices. The training also provided free consultations and opportunities to link with packaging companies and government agencies, as well as to exchange ideas with other food processors. This project is one proof that we can create positive impact in our local food systems through synergistic actions.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of our Chancellor, Professor Larry Endigal, and the entire UP Mindanao community, we give our warmest felicitations to Professor Glory A. Romo and her team members for their Strengthening Against Vulnerabilities and Externalities, or SAVE, Food Systems Project, which is nominated for this 4th Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. Despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, Professor Romo's team spearheaded the conduct of the following public service activities in the first half of 2021. First, the provision to smallholder farmers in Davao City with hygiene kits to ensure their safety from exposure to COVID-19 virus. Second, community tree planting distribution of vegetable seeds to farmers and food packs to the farming communities in Barangay Kapatagan, Indigo City, and Marilog District in Davao City. And third, free training on good manufacturing practices for micro, small, and medium enterprises in the food processing sector, regulatory government agencies such as the Food and Drug Administration, and faculty and students of UP and other universities. May their good deeds inspire everyone in the university to do their own share in delivering needed public service to marginalized Filipinos, particularly in underserved regions, consistent with UP's mandate to lead as a public service university, especially in the Mindanao region. Thank you, everyone. Daghang salamat ug padayon. Stay safe, everyone.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the Office of the Chancellor, Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, Office of the Vice Chancellor for Planning and Development, Office of the Vice Chancellor for Administration, Office of the Vice Chancellor for Community Affairs, the College of Engineering and Agro-Industrial Technology, and the UPLB COVID-19 Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, for the establishment of the UPLB COVID-19 Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory, or CMDL, under Task Force Laban ng Bayan kontra COVID-19. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work, contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
CMDL is the result of the hard work and teamwork of the Task Force Laban ng Bayan kontra COVID-19. Chaired by then UPLB Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, Dr. Rex B. Demafilis, along with other university officials and partner government and private agencies like the Philippine Red Cross.
Concerted efforts of the leadership team, financial group, engineering group, medical and molecular experts combined was one of the greatest manifestations of cooperation at its best.
We can process 360 samples per day. Aside from the samples from the University Health Service, we also receive samples from the rural health units of our neighboring towns, Los Baños, Calamba, and Bae, from 14 more towns of Laguna, mostly from the 4th District, and samples too from 4 public hospitals and 2 private hospitals in Laguna.
This is a proof that UP can do anything with perseverance by unselfishly working together for a common good and with fervor to serve our constituents and the whole country and uphold our mandate as the national and public service university of the Philippines.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, for the UPLB OVCSA COVID-19 initiatives, Lingap, Hatid, Kawinan, Kumustahan, and Well-Being Registry. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
Nagsimula ang plano matapos madeklara na suspendido ang semestre sa UPLB. Agad naming pinulong ang kasalukuyang mga heads ng OSA upang magsagawa ng needs assessments at ilatag ang planong mga assistance sa ating mga stranded students at ibang sektor.
Isa sa mga unang plano ay ang hatid na nagnanais pagbuklurin ang mga estudyante at ang kanilang mga pamilya. Ito ay sa pakikipagtulungan ng maraming sektor, alumni, pulisya, militar, medical officers, at ang mga hatid volunteers na nagsisilbing chaperone ng ating mga estudyante.
Dahil sa lockdown, sarado ang mga karaniwang establishments na binibilihan ng mga pagkain. Para mambigyan sila ng food and other essentials, nabuo ang Kawingan. Ito ay sa tulong ng mga napakaraming volunteers na walang pagod sa paghatid ng food packs sa loob at labas ng campus.
Katuwang ng lahat ng programa ay ang pagtugon ng masa sa lingap o ang donation drive na tumanggap ng cash o in-kind na mga tulong para sa ating mga stranded students. Nabigyan din natin ang mga estudyante ng cash assistance mula sa DSWD.
Patuloy ang dagok ng pandemya. Minabuti nating ipagpatuloy ang mga student assistance programs at bigyan ng agarang tulong ang mga estudyante at ang kanilang pamilyang apektado ng COVID-19 sa tulong ng UPLB Student Wellbeing Registry.
Greetings from UP Los Baños. It is my honor to acknowledge the 4 nominees of UPLB for the 4th Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. First is the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs COVID-19 initiatives, which include the Oplands Lingap, Hatid, Kawingan, and Kumustahan, and Well-Being Registry. Second is the edible landscaping, the artistic technique of crop production of the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Third is the UPLB COVID-19 Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory. And last, but definitely not the least, the UPLB Shield versus COVID-19 of the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Community Affairs. UPLB is proud to nominate these 4 programs and initiatives which bloomed out of the desire to help our communities during the height of the pandemic. Our 4 nominees bear UP's seal of honor, excellence, and compassion. On behalf of our nominees, I would like to thank the UP Padayon Public Service, Office of the Vice President for Public Affairs for this recognition. This milestone further inspires our constituent university to sustain collaborations that catalyze and enhance the development of our communities. Maraming salamat. Padayon!
The University of the Philippines, Office of the President, presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the College of Law of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, for the lingap legal sa panahon ng pandemya, in recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
Ang Office of Legal Aid ay isa sa clinical legal education program ng UP College of Law at ito ay kinikilala bilang flagship program ng CLEP ng college. At ang lingap legal sa panahon ng pandemya ay nagawa dahil sa pangangailangan ng katarungan sa panahon ng pandemya. Kaya po, kami ay nakipag-ugnayan sa Commission on Human Rights para sa usapin ng human rights. Dahil nakita natin na nagamit po ang pandemya, no? Nagi po itong isang weapon na weaponize upang gamitin para masiil ang karapatang pantao ng ating mga kababayan.
Congratulations to Ola for this recent award. Experiences during the pandemic, very challenging, but the video conference hearings help a lot in making supervising lawyers' time available for the law interns. Thank you.
Sa hinaharap, lahat po ng natutunan namin sa panahon ng pandemya ay magagamit namin para lalo pang mapabuti, mapahusay at mapaigting ang serbisyong legal sa ating mga kababayan. Sa napakarami pong mga kaso na naidulog sa amin, siguro po ang Office of Legal Aid ay patuloy po na pag-aaralan kung paano pa mas lalong makatulong sa ating mga kababayan. Ito po ang diwa ng Office of Legal Aid na siya rin pong diwa ng Universidad ng Pilipinas. Dangal at husay.
The University of the Philippines, Office of the President, presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the University of the Philippines, Diliman, for the UP Diliman COVID-19 Task Force. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
The UP Diliman COVID-19 Task Force, composed of faculty, staff, and students from different disciplines, was created by Chancellor Fidel R. Nemenzo in March 2020 to direct and implement UPD's pandemic response. Members have lent their expertise and provided multidimensional perspectives to a complex and evolving public health situation. Among the projects initiated by the task force were 2 isolation facilities, Kanlungang Palma, which operated from April to June 2020, and Silungang Molave, which opened in August 2020. Both also offered RT-PCR testing. From May 2020 to July 2021, 8,154 tests were done in these facilities. To further control the spread of the virus, the UPHS Public Health Unit facilitated and supervised contact tracing efforts. For its communication strategies, the task force, through the Diliman Information Office, regularly provides updates on the COVID-19 situation in UPD and Barangay UP campus. Weekly reports of COVID-19 cases and COVID-19 area maps are posted on the UPD website and social media pages. It also conducted information campaigns around Barangay UP campus. Finally, Bakunahan sa Diliman, a volunteer-run vaccination site which was set up in coordination with the Quezon City LGU, administered 12,545 vaccine doses to the UPD community and the general public in its first 3 months of operation. It also had partnerships with the United Nations Population Fund, WHO, DOH, CHR, and advocacy groups to vaccinate the homeless, the survivors of gender-based violence, and other at-risk populations. Indeed, through these projects, the task force has emphasized its main goals of ensuring the safety and good health of UPD constituents and nearby communities and minimizing the socio-economic impacts of COVID-19.
Magandang araw sa lahat. Pagbati at congratulations sa lahat ng mga nominado para sa Gawad Pangulo Award. Ito'y okasyon para kilalanin at bigyang pugay ang mga inisyatiba ng iba't ibang UP unit na tumutugon sa hamon ng COVID-19. Pagsasabuhay ito ng ating misyon bilang isang public service university na tumulong, makiisa, makipagbayanihan at maghanap ng mga solusyon sa samot-saring problemang dulot ng pandemya. Masaya ako at 6 ang mga nominadong galing sa UP Diliman at gusto ko silang batiin. Ang UP PsychServe, ang UP Library, ang College of Engineering, ang UP College of Law, ang College of Masscom, ang UP Diliman CRV o COVID-19 Response Volunteers, ang mga volunteer mula sa All UP Academic Employees Union at mga volunteer mula sa All UP Workers Alliance at ang UP Diliman COVID Task Force. Congratulations sa inyo mga kasama ko sa UP Diliman at congratulations sa lahat ng mga nominado mula sa iba't ibang CU. Para sa akin lahat kayo panalo. At salamat UP Padayon Public Service Office at ang Office of the Vice President for Public Affairs para sa Gawad Pangulo Award na nagbibigay parangal sa mga ambag ng ating mga kolehiyo, mga opisina at komunidad para tugunan ang hamon ng pandemya. Marami pong salamat.
Before we continue with the recognition of this year's awardees, please join me in listening to a special performance that will surely remind us of our motivations to continue doing public service. It will be given by world-renowned UP Los Baños Choral Ensemble, the official university choir of University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
One day I'll hear the laugh of children in a world where Open your heart to those who need you. In the name of love and I believe in the people of all nations to join and to care for love. I believe in a world where light will guide us and giving our love will make heaven on earth. I believe in the people of all nations to join and to care for love. I believe in a world where light will guide us and giving our love will make heaven
Thank you very much for serenading us with your gift of voice that is surely world-class. UPLB Choral Ensemble. At this point, we will continue with the recognition of the winners of the 4th Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. Once again, a video feature of the awardees and an inspirational message from the chancellors will be shown after the reading of the certificates of recognition.
The University of the Philippines, Office of the President, presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the College of Engineering of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, for the UP College of Engineering COVID-19 response. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
As COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on our society, the UP College of Engineering is spurred to action with the aim of providing engineering solutions to the country's critical needs. A UP COE COVID-19 response team was formed and 14 projects were found expedient and urgent. Our college has distributed face shields to over 54 different hospitals, developed a low-cost adult medical ventilator prototype for respiratory treatment, developed 2 applications including an allocation of medical supplies contact tracing, helped disinfect PPEs through plasma cleaning, and distributed 12 units of UV light chambers to different hospitals and institutions. Our college has also built an in situ hypochlorite disinfectant generation system, designed and produced a powered air purifying respirator prototype, and assessed the non-functioning ventilator units at UPPGH. Further, there was also an effort to screen phytochemicals from plants endemic to the Philippines to find potential drug candidates for the SARS-CoV-2. Our college has also developed AIDStrat, which is a probability game that uses COVID-19 incidence and death occurrences as proxies for infection and death rates. We also developed another low-cost adult medical ventilator prototype, as well as an integrated personal, material, and information system for managing critical hospital operations. There was also an effort to assess rice sufficiency as the country navigates through the pandemic. And finally, 92 bikes were lent to hospitals in Quezon City as alternative modes of transportation. UP COE is immensely grateful and overwhelmed by the show of support from UP ERDV, UPAE, generous donors, and all the individuals who left their services, time, and knowledge for the success of these projects. Kayo ay makaaasang patuloy kami na maglilingkod sa sambayanan sa tulong ng agham at teknolohiya. Padayon.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the Office of the Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, for the UP Diliman Psychosocial Services or UPD PsychServe. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of a UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
The UP Diliman Psychosocial Services is a special project established in 2017 under the Office of the Chancellor to address the escalating mental health problems among university students. On paper, PsychServe's mandate is simple: to provide mental health and psychosocial support services to UP Diliman constituents. But what has animated our work since we began is a vision of UP as a nurturing university environment. In March 2020, PsychServe, noting the likely disturbing effects of the pandemic on the mental health of Filipinos and the need to change mode of service delivery, quickly transformed its services to telepsychological work along its 6 component services. These include direct mental health services by way of telepsychotherapy, suicide prevention and postvention, and relapse prevention services. Workshops on personal concerns amidst the pandemic, such as understanding and befriending our emotions and cultivating interpersonal relationships, as well as group sessions on effective coping and living in the new normal, such as dealing with grief and losses in life, addressing the motivation and low productivity, and increased family conflicts. PsychServe also develops policies, systems, and procedures for better access to services. Research informs and refines our programs and interventions. These were presented in various national conferences. PsychServe also engages in advocacy work through social media messaging, developing infographics, maintaining a resource center, and holding fora to raise community mental health awareness. On top of all these, PsychServe offered free telepsychotherapy to the general public during the first year of the pandemic and typhoons Rolly, Quinta, and Ulysses. This was made possible with the help of more than 100 psychosocial support volunteers. The work that we do within UP Diliman has been shared with colleagues within the UP system. We have partnered with the UP PGH Department of Emergency Medicine in providing group processing sessions to their resident doctors who are experiencing much stress in their work in the ER amidst the pandemic. More recently, UPD PsychServe placed second in the Helia Castillo Award for Research on Social Innovations in Health. With the research grant that came with the award, PsychServe aims to upscale its innovation by offering training programs that contextualize the Ginhawa model in other higher education institutions. Ultimately, what we advocate in PsychServe is a view of mental health and well-being as integral to the honor and excellence that UP values. PsychServe is poised to sustain an ever-improving wide spectrum of outpatient services with built-in research and training elements for program sustainability. It offers all these with quality and freely in the spirit of UP's best traditions of excellence in serving the people.
It is with great pleasure to introduce to you the nominee of the University of the Philippines Baguio for the 4th Gawad Pangulo with the theme Galing UP, Lingkod Bayan, Pagtugon sa Hamon ng Pandemya. Our nominee demonstrates how mathematics through exploratory data analysis can be used for monitoring COVID-19 cases. With diligence and efficiency, this group composed of faculty members and research assistants of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science of the College of Science worked to provide daily COVID-19 cases, from deaths, infection rates in all barangays, and vaccination monitoring, among others. Working closely with the Baguio City Health Office and with the Office of Public Affairs, UP Baguio, our team provided useful information to all residents of Baguio City. The results of their daily monitoring of COVID-19 cases are posted and announced to the general public. Through their work, residents of Baguio City are able to monitor the infection rates of COVID, allowing the city to identify high-risk areas. I am proud to introduce to you our nominee for the 4th Gawad Pangulo, the project leader, Dr. Isabel C. Adawe, and her members for the project titled Exploratory Data Analysis or EDA of Baguio City COVID-19 Cases Daily Updates. We encourage more faculty, staff, and other members of the community to continue delivering public service as we fulfill UP's mandate to lead as a public service university. Pagbati sa lahat ng nominado, maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na paglilingkod sa sambayanan. Padayon!
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the College of Science Department of Mathematics and Computer Science and the Office of Public Affairs of the University of the Philippines Baguio for the Exploratory Data Analysis or EDA of Baguio City COVID-19 cases daily updates. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work, contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
Good morning. It is a great honor to be chosen as one of the recipients of the 4th Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service. We present you highlights of the exploratory data analysis, or EDA, of COVID-19 cases in Baguio City. EDA is a volunteer research work of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science of the College of Science at the UP Baguio. This is updated daily by yours truly and my team of volunteers. This project aims to contribute to the city's active monitoring of COVID-19 cases in partnership with Baguio City's Health Services Office since March 2020. Here are some of the primary beneficiaries of the project. Some results of the EDA are being posted on the UP Baguio official FB page in coordination with OPA. Results were also posted in the Baguio's PIO official FB page. Both local and national newspapers, online articles, and other Facebook pages cited the study as a reference for local news about the city. EDA contributes in the dissemination of up-to-date and relevant information about COVID-19. These are some of the business meetings where the results of the study were utilized. Recently, the team was recognized by the LGU of Baguio in appreciation of the hard work and efforts to quell the surge of COVID-19 Delta variant in the city. The team was able to present in local and international scientific meetings and was able to publish scientific articles about COVID-19. Student engagements were also encouraged as evidenced with the presentations and academic gatherings. Maraming salamat DMCS, CS, UP Baguio, UP Resilience Institute, at UP System. Mabuhay ang mga naglilingkod para sa bayan. Padayon!
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the Philippine Genome Center of the University of the Philippines System for the COVID-19 biosurveillance and testing. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
ang PGC para sa bayan.
The University of the Philippines Office of the President presents this Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service to the School of Technology of the University of the Philippines, Visayas, for the production of ethanol-based hand rub for frontline workers. In recognition of its exemplary and innovative work contributing to the fulfillment of UP's mandate to lead as a public service university and to the nation's response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the 16th day of December 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Signed, President Danilo L. Concepcion.
How did you come up with this? Sabi ko nga kanina, ang alcohol ngayon parang ginto eh.
Gusto po namin makatulong, unang-una siguro sa komunidad namin, tapos sa Iloilo, sa buong Panay, kahit paano makatulong po doon sa supply ng alcohol.
When I saw the first few drops, I knew we can help the community.
It really is true that crisis and adversity can bring out the best in people. When the pandemic struck and lockdowns were enforced in March 2019, the entire educational system ground to a halt. The disruption was unprecedented. Yet, many came forward to help others, refusing to bow to this pandemic. The two nominees from UP Visayas are quintessential examples of this flourishing of the civic spirit. The first nominee is a project implemented through the combined efforts of the Community Outreach Program, BIDANI, and the Division of Professional Education. The project addresses the struggle of the education sector in teaching and training in the new normal with the aim of improving basic education outcomes. More than 2,400 teachers and research managers from various public, primary, and secondary schools in the region benefited from this initiative called Action Research Project, which stands for assistance, collaborations, trainings, and other interventions on action research. The second nominee is a project that sought to address the lack of sanitizing materials in the market at the height of the lockdown. When commercial alcohol became either unavailable or too expensive, this project made use of raw materials in abundant supply locally to produce ethanol alcohol as an alternative. This raw material was molasses, a byproduct of sugar production. This project of the faculty and staff of the School of Technology, dubbed Production of Ethanol-Based Hand Rub for Frontline Workers, supplied alcohol not only to the UPV community, but also to various LGUs and other institutions in the province of Iloilo. These nominated projects are just two of the many public service initiatives carried out by the UP Visayas community, which includes our very active and supportive alumni organizations. Our alumni have led the way in providing medical supplies, PPEs, and even medical equipment to the different hospitals in the region. UP Visayas experts continue to volunteer their services to the provincial and local governments and to national agencies of government such as the DOH in support of the government's response to the crisis. Indeed, it is an honor and a privilege to be part of this public service institution. Padayon, UP Visayas.
Congratulations to all the awardees. Truly, you have shown us the grit and perseverance of UP to deliver timely and relevant public service despite the hindrances that arose with the COVID-19 pandemic. To give us a message of acceptance from this year's roster of awardees and a testimony of the experience of public service during this most unprecedented time, I am pleased to introduce to you Dr. Cynthia Saloma, the Executive Director of the Philippine Genome Center of the UP System.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Sa ngalan ng mga researchers, laboratory staff, and personnel na bumubuo ng UP Philippine Genome Center Network sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Taos-puso po akong nagpapasalamat sa karangalang binigay ninyo sa amin bilang isa sa mga awardees ng Gawad Pangulo for Public Service sa taong ito. Bagamat virtual ang ating pagsama-sama, mapalad tayo at nabigyan pa rin tayo ng pagkakataon upang maging bahagi ng natatanging araw na ito. Marahil nararapat din po tayong magbalik-tanaw sa mga pangyayari sa pandemyang COVID-19 at gunitain kung ano man ang ating nagawa, maliit man o malaki, para sa ating komunidad at sa sambayanang Pilipino. Ito po ang panahon na ang ating kakayahan at kadulubsaan ay kinakailangan ng ating bayan. Kami po sa PGC, mga isang dekada na ang nakalipas, ay nagpasya na kinakailangan nating magkaroon dito mismo sa ating bansa ng mga pasilidad at mga gamit na kung sakali man magkaroon ng isang pandemya tulad ng SARS noong 2003 dito sa ating bayan, ay handa po tayo mag-sequence at magkilala kung anumang mikrobyo o pathogen ang sanhi nito. Sa tulong po ng pamunuan ng ating universidad at ng DOST, ng CHED-PICARI at ng Department of Health, sama-sama po tayong nagsimula ng National Genomic Biosurveillance Program upang matukoy ang mga variants and lineages nitong SARS-CoV-2 virus. Karangalan ko po bilang Executive Director ng UP Philippine Genome Center na mamuno sa ating mga batang siyentista, bioinformaticians, molecular biologists, at iba't ibang pangkasapi ng ating lupon sa PGC sa panahon ng pandemyang kung saan ang mga kakayahan ng ating mga batang staff ay naipamalas sa buong mundo at naging paraan din upang labanan natin ang COVID-19 virus. Hindi lang po sa pagsisequence ng COVID-19 virus tayo nagsikap, sapagkat tayo po at ang mga molecular biologists na kasama natin sa NIMBB UP Diliman ay nagtatag din po tayo ng mga RT-PCR laboratories, kasama na rin po yung ating mga samahan sa UP National Institutes of Health at saka sa UP PGC Visayas at Mindanao. Kami po ay sama-samang gumawa ng mga manual at operating procedures, pati na po yung mga hands-on training kung saan naisanay po natin ang mga medtechs ng iba't ibang laboratorio sa buong Pilipinas upang sila po ay matuto ng diagnostic testing ng SARS-CoV-2 virus, pati na rin po magkaroon sila ng license to operate as an RT-PCR diagnostic laboratory for COVID-19 testing. Nais ko rin pong banggitin ang malaking tulong ng ating mga donors, lalo na po ang samahan ng mga alumni ng BSMBB program sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo na nag-ambag ng mahigit sa 3 milyong piso sa panahon na tayo'y nagsisimula magtatag ng RT-PCR laboratory for COVID-19 testing, at ang mga alumni po natin dito sa bansa na nag-volunteer sa iba't ibang laboratorio sa Pilipinas upang sumali sa RT-PCR testing sa simula po ng pandemyang ito. Despite the difficulties this pandemic brought to us, among the many learnings worth noting is the singular opportunity for us to grow as a team and as professionals working in and with the government during this pandemic. The endeavor tested our tenacity to focus on solving, resolving, or strategizing and working together for public service. To the many staff in the UP administration who have been working with us to be able to deliver the weekly biosurveillance report to the DOH, taus puso din po kaming nagpapasalamat sa inyo. We are humbled by your sense of sacrifice, while we likewise take pride in the fact that we from the University of the Philippines have been an integral part in our nation's fight against this ongoing pandemic. Kahit ano pa man ang mangyari, tayo rin pong mga Pilipino ang nagtutulungan at magtutulungan. Muli, maraming salamat at patuloy tayong magpugay dahil tuloy pa rin ang Pasko at ang pag-asang malalampasan din natin ang pandemyang ito. Madamo gid na salamat sa aton na tanan.
To give us another inspiring message from our awardees, it is my pleasure to call on Director of the UP Diliman Psychosocial Services, or the UPD PsychServ, Professor Emerita Dr. Violeta V. Bautista.
Mahal na Pangulo, Attorney Danilo Concepcion at mga kasama sa kanyang tanggapan, mga butihin nating Chancellor ng ating constituent universities, mga tagapamahala ng Padayon Office sa pangunguna ni Dr. Jeanette Yasol, mga kapwa akademiko at lingkod bayan. We, the recipients of the Gawad Pangulo Award for the year 2020-2021, breathe a deep sigh of gratitude at this hour. Moment natin ito. From the bottom of our hearts, thanks to the most meaningful way the Gawad ng Pangulo is honoring the services our respective disciplines are offering to the public. Thanks as well to the Padayon Public Service Office, UP's arm that brings focus to university programs doing public service. It is but fitting now that we ponder what we are all up to as a university. A big part of this is our will as the national university, as UP Centennial Charter designates us. We are, says the Charter, a public and secular institution of higher learning and a community of scholars dedicated to the search for truth and knowledge, as well as the development of future leaders. That search for truth naturally bears fruit in praxis, in the excellence of public service, which we celebrate on this occasion. Wala man tayong kawikaang Latin para bigkasin ang diwang ito, meron naman tayong matatas na oble sa gisag ng wagas na alay lingkod sa bayang humirang sa atin bilang kanyang pambansang universidad. Muli, mula sa aming lahat, taos-pusong pasasalamat po.
Thanks very much, Dr. Cynthia Saloma and Dr. Violeta Bautista, for your messages of encouragement that resounds in the hearts and minds of our colleagues in public service in the University of the Philippines. To formally close the awarding ceremony of the 4th Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service, it is my pleasure to introduce the Director of the Padayon Public Service Office of the University of the Philippines System, Dr. Jeanette Yosol Naval.
Mahal na Pangulo Danilo Concepcion, Vice President for Public Affairs Elena Pernia, mga Chancellor ng iba't ibang constituent universities ng UP, mga Professor Emeritus na bumubuo sa ating selection committee, iba pang mga tagapamahala ng universidad, mga kasapi ng System Committee on Public Service, mga ginawaran ng pagkilala sa ika-4 na Gawad Pangulo, mga kasamang guro, mga panauhin, magandang umaga. Ang Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service ay isang selebrasyon ng mga katangi-tangi at di matatawarang paglilingkod para sa komunidad at sa bayan. Kanilang kinakatawan ang dangal, husay at malasakit ng universidad sa panahon ng matinding pagsubok dulot ng pandemya. Isang karangalan po para sa UP Padayon Public Service Office ng tanggapan ng Vice President for Public Affairs ang maging kabahagi ng ating Pangulo sa pagbibigay parangal sa 15 mahuhusay na proyekto na tahasang humarap sa hamon ng COVID. Upang sa pamamagitan ng mga saliksik ay makapag-ambag ng kinakailangang tulong teknikal, makapag-angkop ng teknolohiya tulad ng biosurveillance at testing, produksyon ng prototype ventilator at air purifying respirator, alcohol, PPE, pagkain at iba pang gamit pangkaligtasan. Ang makapaghatid ng mga serbisyong pangkalusugan kasama ang pagsasagawa ng operasyon sa mga di makapunta sa Maynila dahil sa travel restrictions, ang pagbibigay ng pag-agapay para sa mga may dinadalang suliranin sa mental health, dala ng danas dahil sa COVID, at ang paghahatid ng mga telegabay at telekonsultasyon. Gayon din ang pagsusulong ng mga bago at epektibong pamamaraan para sa remote learning, mga serye ng webinar at virtual na palihan na tumatakbo na ng sintagal ng pandemyang ito. Ngunit siya ring naging daan upang makapagbigay impormasyon, tulong medikal at legal at higit sa lahat pag-asa para sa ating mga kababayan. At ang pag-aalay ng spasyo ng universidad upang maging laboratorio, pasilidad para sa isolation at quarantine at bakunahan ay sadyang di matatawaran. Tunay na naipamalas ng ating mga proyekto ang tapat at buong pusong pagkalinga at pag-agapay sa kapwa sa gitna ng pandemyang ating kinakaharap. Bitbit muli namin sa UP Padayon ang mga kwento ng ating mga nagwaging proyekto, kasama ang iba pang nominadong proyekto upang mas maipakilala at maipagmalaki sa bansa at sa buong mundo ang kagitingan ng ating mga tagapaglingkod bayan mula sa Universidad ng Pilipinas. Patuloy po naming pagsisikapan na mabuklod at maipakilala ang lahat ng mga proyektong pang-public service ng UP kasama ang mga magigiting na tagapagtaguyod nila. Mabuhay po kayo! Kaagapay po ang UP Padayon sa adhikain ng ating universidad na patuloy na manguna sa pagtataguyod ng makabuluhan at napapanahong paglilingkod bayan. Sa huli, nais ko pong gamitin ang pagkakataon upang bigyan rin ng pagkilala at pasasalamat ang mga naging bahagi ng programa ng Gawad Pangulo. Ang buong tanggapan ng Vice President for Public Affairs sa pamumuno ni VP Neni Pernia, ang TVUP sa pamumuno ni Direktor at Professor Emeritus Grace Gigi Alfonso, ang Media and Public Relations Office na pinamumunuan ng ating tagapagpadaloy ngayon na si AVP at Professor Wendell Capili, at higit sa lahat ang walang kapantay na team ng UP Padayon. Hanggang sa susunod po na Gawad Pangulo, Padayon!
With those inspirational words from Director Yosel Naval, or Jet as we fondly call her, this year's Gawad Pangulo Award for Excellence in Public Service is now concluded. Be that as it may, the dedication and commitment to touch and change lives through public service will remain a vital part of the university's character. Our colleagues in public service, let us continue to carry on this duty for our country. Padayon!